It seems that only steakhouses know how to get that perfect sear on a steak. My cast iron skillet steak and herb butter recipe will show you the technique to get that flavorful and juicy seared steak. All you need is your oven and a cast iron skillet. Hi everyone, welcome to today's episode of Let's Celebrate TV. I'm your host, Peter Lee. On this channel, we teach you all about celebrating. We share recipes for food, hors d'oeuvres, and cocktails, and we share entertaining tips too. Now we try and keep it all as simple as we can, especially for those of you out there who say that you just can't cook or entertain, because we know that you really can. So if you like this episode, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit that notification bell, and you will get a new episode every single week. Today, our celebration is all about steak. We're making my cast iron skillet steak with herb butter. It's a mouthful, but it's delicious and super simple. So let's get started. Now, to make this recipe, you want to start with your cast iron pan, or if you don't have cast iron, any heavy bottomed skillet or frying pan. You don't want to use a nonstick pan for this. You want to use stainless steel, maybe even aluminum, or cast iron is preferred. Now to get it heating up, because you want it screaming hot to get that sear on the steak. You know, the kind of sear you get from a steakhouse. All I did was I cranked my oven up to 500 degrees. I put my skillet in there, and it's just going to sit in there and heat up for maybe 15-20 minutes. That's going to heat the pan evenly, and it'll be all prepped and ready to go when I'm ready to cook. Now while that's heating, we're going to do some other stuff. Let's start with the steaks. I have two beautiful boneless New York strip steaks. These are about half a pound each, which is 227 grams, thereabouts. All we're going to do right now is hit them with some salt on either side, quite heavily. And the reason for this, because this is going to season them, the salt's going to draw out some of the moisture, and then through a process called osmosis, that moisture is going to be drawn back in and it's going to bring the salt with it. And that's how you season food. And that's why it will be delicious. We'll turn these over. I'm going to hit the other side, make it snow. Now we're just going to put these aside, let them rest and do their thing. Now you may be wondering why I'm not using pepper. I don't need it right now. It may make it a little bitter. We're going to season them with pepper before we cook them. So just the salt for right now. Now I mentioned some herb butter, so that's our next step. So I have here 4 ounces or 113 grams of butter, which in the US is 1 stick. This happens to be salted butter. You can use salted or unsalted, whatever. The key here is it's softened. I let this sit out in this bowl all day so it's nice and soft and ready to go. To that, we're going to add some flavorings. I've got 2 cloves of garlic that I just ran through my garlic press because I want them really finely minced. You could use a garlic press, you could use a little rasp grater, whatever you have. Put that in. Parsley, fresh parsley, about 2 tablespoons. Fresh is the key to this. You could use dry if you really had to, but get fresh. It'll be worth it. Again, right in. A little bit of salt and pepper. I know it's salted butter, but I want to add a little more. And of course, a good grinding of pepper to this. Now we're just going to mix this up, which goes really quickly since the butter is soft. Lovely. So that's all we really have to do. Nice and mixed, pretty. Now my pan should be almost ready, so I'm going to put this all aside. Let all these flavors marry. Steaks are going to keep resting. I'm going to clear the decks, and then we're going to cook us some steaks. Now we're ready to cook. So I've got my pan here out of the oven, and I've got it on a medium-high heat to keep that heat going and maintained. You'll notice this pan is screaming, screaming hot. I've got a kitchen towel here just to remind me not to grab that. So if I do, I won't burn myself. Kitchen safety. So here are my steaks. They're lovely. Sitting, resting. I'm going to give them a quick little pat dry because there's still a little moisture on it. Now a little bit of pepper. Gonna flip them over and do the same thing. Just lightly drying, not enough to take that salt away, but just so you don't get steam when you throw them in that pan. And a little pepper. Now before these go in, and this will give the pepper a chance to soak in a bit, I've got some vegetable oil here. I've got 2 tablespoons vegetable oil right in the hot pan. Why vegetable oil? If I used olive oil, it might burn. It has a really low smoke point. This has a higher smoke point, but you can see it's smoking already because that's how hot this pan is, and that's what you want. So let's get cooking. Put these in, lay them away from you in case of splattering. Yeah, that's what you want to hear. Now, 2 minutes exactly. 2 minutes on this first side. That's going to develop a crust and really hit that sear. 2 minutes. Okay, it's been exactly 2 minutes. Let's flip and see what we get. Oh, perfect. This is exactly what you want. We're going to flip this one too. Oh, beautiful. 2 more minutes. It's been another 2 minutes. And these are kind of smaller steaks, so I'm going to check them now with my trusty probe thermometer. One of them seems to be a little thinner, so I'm going to check that one first. If I can get it up out of the pan. There we go. All right, this one is done. I'm going to pull this out. Let's check this one. Oh yeah, this guy is done too. Now, if they weren't done, what you could do is lower the heat, flip them over, do a minute per side. Check them every minute and keep going side to side every minute until you reach the temperature that you want. Now, we're going to hit this with some butter. Remember that herb butter we made? Put a nice dollop on there. Spread it out a bit. A little messy with your fingers. That's okay. Spread that one out. And we're going to put very loose tenterfoil on this. So if you need any carryover cooking, that will happen. Very loose. Let them rest 5 minutes. So it's been 5 minutes. Let's see how our steaks look and do our favorite part. Ooh, lovely. I'm going to try this nice big guy right here. Put him right there. Now you see they've rested, the butter's melting. Ooh. Perfection. Every single time. Perfection. Perfectly medium rare. Oof. Now I get to do my favorite part for you. Let's give a little extra butter. I can't even. It's tender. It's moist. The garlic, because it went through the garlic press, cooked a little bit in that butter that's just from melting on that hot steak. It's permeated all the way through. And there's just a party. There's just all this flavor. It's incredible. And so simple. You know, I need a little wine to wash it down. Now, you realize, why is it so juicy? Why is it so delicious? Because of that sear, that crust that we built up on it from that screaming hot cast iron pan. Wow. So, before I devour this, I have to say, as always, guys, we will have this recipe and instructions up in the video description section on YouTube and on our webpage. And, as always, we will see you Tuesdays for our regular episodes and Fridays for our Basic Skills Day. And always, you're all invited to come on over, come on in, let's celebrate. Cheers.